What's up, everyone? Hardcore here. So, we all know what's going on with the situation about the modding in 14 is going on, with how everybody's freaking out about some sort of a plugin, or actually a mod within a plugin called Mare. And we wanted to talk about it and how we see the situation is going on and how our thoughts about it and the statement, of course, and how people are still acting like it's fine. But before I go into that, we got our crew here. Say hi, guys. We have Kaiser, Jeff, and a new guest. She's our friend, Usagi. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, that was everybody at the same time. But like I said, you guys know about the situation going on lately. I mean, it's been like a week maybe or 2 weeks now that the supposedly the mod that is been or at least has been used for almost 2,000, I believe, from what I've seen, 2,000 people that used it. That's just numbers. We don't actually know how many people actually used it or registered in the Discord thingy. But that's kind
Well,
of an
it's over.
insane number. I'm like, what? That is a lot. And
Well, supposedly from the interview with the mayor dev, he said that it was 25,000 unique registrations, so 25,000 people within the first few months that he had started it.
oh yeah,
And the the people don't listen to others. Mob mentality will take over way too quickly on these sorts of things. Because the dev has asked two things, and the community has failed him on both. The first one was he has spent or has had over 10 petabytes, which is huge for any kind of um,
Any
anything
server
on the internet.
interaction.
that is
Yeah,
a
Yeah,
lot.
server interaction.
petabytes is freaking.
He-
That's an amazing number.
Yeah, that's what 1,000 terabytes, 10,000 megabytes, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Or
that's a
higher.
crazy number.
Yeah, and that's just this year alone. So if it's gone for 2 years and he's had 25,000 plus individuals using his uh, mod, then it has to be even higher for last year. But he's asked people before, please stop using so many mods with it. You are bogging down the system. People don't listen. They want to use all of the mods that they want.
Right.
And when the issue arose with Square Enix, he said, hey guys, the mod will be going down. Please do not, pretty much, please do not become a mob on this topic. And what happened? Mob.
He accidentally created the Streisand effect.
Yeah.
And people
And
went
It
haywire and petitioned for it, or so I heard.
yeah, there was a petition made.
Yeah,
It
for
was over
for Square
change.org.
yeah, for Square Enix to it was supposed to like make them allow mods.
Yeah, it was to change their stance and allow mods.
Mhm.
And at one
But it's
point
not
they
the
were
use of the
over
mod
100.
itself. It's the type of mods that was being presented that turned out to be the issue, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Mayor, from what I was reading, will take your IP address and will hold that, but it uses that to take your mods off your system to share with other people
So it's kind of
using
like
the
the
same
T
mod.
app, but instead of dating and saving yourself from bad men, it's do the
Yeah.
same thing with your IP address.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of risky.
And yes, it is because anybody, if he lets somebody hack into it, well, there's a whole bunch of IP addresses and
Yeah,
a
and
whole
with
bunch
that
of
much
players.
information that's
So
being transferred at one time, I mean, that's a lot of users, number one.
yeah,
That would be considered like probably one of the biggest data breaches in probably since the conception of the internet. I mean, when you have that many people that's using that mod. Now, I'm referring to the mod to the size of the data that's being transferred from the server. I mean, it's still probably a lot of people, but it's probably not as much people that I'm probably assuming. Like with the information that's being transferred, I mean, it's people using a lot of mods, which equals out to that transferred size, but probably not a crap ton of people. But still going to be a pretty substantial data leak if that system was ever hacked or or basically taken offline or anything like that. So that's still a huge amount of numbers, especially when it's with your IP address. I mean, that is your fingerprint for your computer. It tells you everything. It tells you
yeah,
your data specs, where you are, everything. So that's like
and
literally having your identity stolen.
yeah, and this isn't one of the worst mods. I mean, there was the one that I have talked with the ones here as the stalker mod, where a guy got so upset that people were,
Oh, the
um,
scope.
Oh yeah, that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was so upset people were undercutting him. He wanted to know who was undercutting him, and so he made a mod that went into the 14 system and found people's information. So he knew who your alts were. He knew, and he was going to allow this for everybody.
That is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
That is
That's
very
beyond
creepy.
creepy.
So, these mods can get worse and worse for the community, even though they are providing something that the community wants. And
Like,
it's more the modding community than just the normal every player.
I mean, if you
And
consider it, like, if you look at it in the aspect of the community, like, you're kind of like alienating the console players because they can't use mods. Like, hear me out. I'm not against mods, like quality of life stuff, like UI customization, effects, and all that. I'm fine with it as long as that's not hurting anybody. But yeah, that's my
Yeah,
take on
and
it.
there's many games where the mods help the game. For example,
Yeah.
Skyrim. I don't think
Yeah.
Skyrim would have lasted as long without the
no,
mods. And
it
there's
wouldn't have.
games
No.
Same thing with Fallout 4. That game probably would have died out a lot sooner if it wasn't for the mod support either.
like Starfield has died out because the mod community gave up on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And people have been taking to Twitter either for or against this whole mob mentality. One person saying, "Oh, I'm going to quit public modding for 14. I'm going to go to another game that will appreciate the effort and the work that I put in for it." Um, Others just
Okay.
saying, "Why don't they go after ACT? Why don't they go after
And
any
that
of these other mods,
mentality that becomes
Alamons?"
toxic because
Yeah.
like when you lose access to the one thing that you wanted or one of the few things that you had, and in spite of that, when it's taken offline, you then become a whistleblower for everything else. Like I lose the one thing that I had that I played the game for or whatever the case may be, and then all of a sudden then it's like, well, they took it offline. They took the thing that I wanted on there. So now why don't you look at all these other things? And it's like, well, number one, there was a lot of reasons why Mare was taking offline. I mean, when it comes to, and I'm sure you're going to get to the point, so I'm not going to, jump into it right now. But it was a lot of things. But then, there have been other controversies when it comes down to like, what was it, the the was it the CRT, the one where you get to see where you're parsing, where your
Oh,
damage falls.
HCP.
Oh,
Yeah, where you just and then people will come in like they will have people that's sending private messages to people that's like, hey, I see that you're not pulling your weight, so people tend to get bullied by using that. The
Mhm.
crazy thing is, no matter what mod or no matter what tool, whatever the intended function is going to be used by like the small minority of the group of people because people will start off using that utility for what it's designed for, but then eventually it's the bad actors that tend to give everything the bad name. And then you have to utilize a tool or any kind of other necessity based off of the usage of those bad actors. Because you might have 98% of the people using the tool for what it's intended for, but then if you have like the 3% that's out there that's ruining then you have to go through and combat those 3%. And then those changes are not made for the 97% of the people, it's made for the 3%. And that's the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And what I
Yeah.
find interesting is the fact that Mayor is just a mod to allow people to see each other's mods. Yet, my question would be, how many of these people are actually using the same list of mods so they already see what their friends are using? It's like, oh, I'm using this mod, you should try it. Okay. And they both use Mayor, but they both still have the mod. So now they
Well,
both see it. And so the list of what Mayor is sharing grows smaller and smaller.
well, the point is like looking at each other's mods. That's the thing.
Yeah. But I'm
But
just saying, like, wouldn't that pretty much just defeat the purpose
mm-hmm.
if rather than, oh, I have this list of mods, you have this list of mods, and now we can see each other. We both have the same list of mods, minus one. So what's even
you
the
know,
reason?
to each their own, I guess, because they have fun
Yeah.
with it and all that. But then again, that after all this stuff that happened, I guess in the live letter that came out or the statement from Yoshi-p was I read all of the things, so you don't have to. So I'm gonna make it like a shortcut. So what he said is, when it comes to things which we are not able to do, I would say openly that it isn't possible, or I could say that technically it isn't possible yet, but I would provide various types of answers based on the situation. So when I am asked these questions by players, I will be open and provide an honest answer. And when I am asked the reason why it's not possible, it's been my policy right from the start to be open and honest about the reasons. If there's anything I would ask from the players, it's that I hope they would be open and receptive and listen to the answers. What will if they provide me with a response along the lines of, well, that's got nothing to do with us, or that's not our problem, it would make me stop and think, okay, well, how should I answer the questions moving forward? If anything, I hope that we would be able to have an open and mutual discussion, because at the end of the day, we are people, and I do hope that we will be able to reach a mutual understanding and continue to openly discuss the possibilities together. So, basically, in shortcut, what he's saying is he doesn't care if you're using mods as long as it's on your side and you don't talk about it like hush hush. That's what he's saying.
Well,
Yeah, that he I mean, it sounded like, even years ago when Yoshi-p was just like, yeah, just keep quiet about it and we won't do anything.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden everybody started talking about it. And so,
and became famous.
yeah.
I mean, that's what he's always been saying, though. That's the thing.
Yes. Yeah, for the longest time, he's always been, you know, if you guys don't bring it to the attention of my bosses, I don't have to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when people go out here and they're posting all of their mods to Twitter or open discords, like the Balance Discord, or anything that isn't their private libraries or their private conversations with friends, then that can put a bad image on not only the company but the game itself, because it gives people the false sense of what they would be able to do within the game. You
Yeah, it's a
know,
liability issue at that point.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, in the MMO scene, you have World of Warcraft. Well, they've always, since I played back in 2009, they always had their add-ons, as they called them. It was always just something that you could have. There was no backlash. So for some people, I think they've been so accustomed to having mods other places that a game and a system that doesn't allow for it, or it's at least hush hush, I get the understanding that people want to share what they've created with things. But he also goes in that life layer. He also goes into some of the mods bypass their Mog Station shop, their online store for 14, and that is a good point, because if there's a mod out there to give you a Mog Station item and you don't have to buy it,
That is illegal. It's
even
like
though,
stealing.
yeah, it's stealing, and the company itself can take legal action. Now, it may take them a long time, and the reason why Mare is such a big thing now is because the creator put his info out there, so the lawyers could send him the cease and desist.
Yeah.
But Usagi might remember back during A Realm Reborn all of the negatives from the modding sphere back then and since, especially with raids. So, back when the hunt system first came out, it was just PC and PlayStation 3. And somebody had made a mod that would tell you when an A rank or S rank hunt was up.
Oh, I
And
remember
it
that.
crippled most of the hunts for a while because you just couldn't get there in time. Now you have hunt trains, and those things can go fast, and you may not even get anything. This was worse because you had a group of people who knew where it was and would just kill it before anybody else even knew it existed. But it's also we've had issues with mods and raids for so many years now. Every time a new Savage content comes out, there's almost always, well, this group is getting disqualified because from their
Yeah, from
top
like world
spots.
first and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they're world first because we found out they use mods. Everybody in the raid group has their whole account banned. It's just gone. And that's something people need to understand with we didn't even talk about it, but people going to Steam with their Steam accounts and leaving bad reviews on the game
Oh, yeah.
just because of Mare. Not because of the state of Dawn Trail, not because of anything else, but because they got rid of a mod. Now, I don't think I need to tell everybody why that's a bad idea, but for those that we do, that's a bad idea if it's your Final Fantasy 14 account linked to your Steam. If you're still planning to play 14 and you went to Steam and said something about the mod being banned, your account is now liable to be
You put yourself
banned.
at risk, yeah, for
Yes.
like it's like basically you're telling
And
them you're using it.
yeah, and people have said, "Oh, because they banned Mare, I'm going to quit Final Fantasy 14." You didn't care about the game to begin with. All you cared about were the mods.
Well,
The
which
mods are great.
I can understand if you
They're-
don't like Dawn Trail. We all know that not everybody liked the expansion, but
No.
it doesn't deserve for one single mod. That's just silly at this point.
No, it's just these are the people who are chronically online
Yeah.
that
Agreed.
are that are that are upset that their, you know, naked mod got taken down. And that's all. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
And
and that's
that
one
also
of
goes for like the creators as well, like the people that make the mods. And like I said, what I was mentioning earlier was that you can have a complete legit mod, right? Where it's just clothing or whatever. There's no nudity, there's no obscenities or anything like that. But it's when something becomes popular, it leaves your guys of control. And when something gets too popular, it basically becomes the free realm of the internet. You can't control it, so you can't stop the influence of people spreading the information around. The more popular it's going to get, the secret's going to be harder to keep. And for people that actually did the things that's on the up and up, they didn't do anything. But the problem is what I was mentioning earlier, when it's 97% of people that's using it for the right thing to do, and then it's the 3% of the people that's giving it the negative attention, that's doing the crazy stuff out that's on there. And then eventually it comes down to the point to, Square Enix to protect their intellectual property. They have every right to do so, despite it pissing off a lot of people, but it is what it is. Like, they have stockholders, they have shareholders. It becomes a money situation, it becomes a numbers game. So when it
It
comes down
also
to things that they're like, well, we would rather lose, a handful of people for things, for getting deleted that they didn't like. I mean, it becomes that numbers game. So yeah, of course you're going to have to control the 3% in order, or whatever the number is, to maintain the balance for the 97%. And then when the 3% ruins it for one, it ruins it for all. So that good old saying that the bad apples spoil the bunch. Like, the whole bunch of apples gets ruined because those one bad apples that ends up screwing it up for everybody. And unfortunately, that happened here. Now, there will probably other mods on the market that will pop up. So for them to say that they're just leaving the game because this one particular mod is banned or discontinued, there might be other mods. It's going to be probably more so in line with the terms of service of Square Enix.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the people that put in all that hard work with all those mods beforehand, they still have control of that data. So whenever that mod comes back, like Yoshi-p just mentioned, that he doesn't mind certain mods if, number one, it doesn't make the game toxic. Number two, if it stays on your client and is not client size where everybody else can see it, and then it doesn't breed negativity and toxicity on everything else. And if it doesn't include nudity, because of course everything that's in Japan is censored to nudity. So the thing is that if you're posting things that relishing that kind of content, then of course, yes, they're going to have to step in, because people are advertising what Kaiser was saying, that this game contains that. And for people that's on consoles, like, oh, if this is the type of game that I'm okay with playing because it has this content, then you get in and it's like, well, now it doesn't have this content. Then that brings up all kind of other stuff that it's false advertisement. And
and
then
that's
that changes Square Enix that update their ratings from like rated E or rated teen to rated AO. And then that changes everything.
Yeah, and that also brings in the other part to the whole mods, is the mods are only available for PC unless somebody messes with their system, with their console, because they're not available as easily for PlayStation and Xbox. And this
Right.
game is meant to be open for everyone on
Yeah,
any
but let's
platform
not
that
forget
it's
it's like
available.
crossplay. Like
Yeah.
we also
Mm-hmm.
play with console players and all that. So
Yeah. And that's something that, you know, it's gone back since forever. Like I was saying back with the hunts. We had PS3 and PC only. And the PS3 players couldn't do anything about the
yeah,
whole mods.
but
Yep.
Even looking at mods now, there's so many of them that, people, it's like, well, they fixed hats for Hrothgars and Vieras. They can wear more hats. Like, Sigma here has an actual hat on as a Viera.
I know, right?
Hooray!
So
But
spooky. I'm so
so
used to
many
seeing this hat.
so many plugs allow for more and more hats, and people question why hasn't 14 done that yet.
that's
Um,
another topic we might need to
yeah.
talk about later. But
Oh
this
yeah,
is just
it
our
does. For
thoughts. Hmm?
one before you stop, one thing I remember we had a question a long time ago on an old video of somebody asking me how I was doing it if I was using a mod because I had a katana on my back as a Dark Knight. No, that's a
Oh,
Stormblood weapon.
yeah. Yeah. Uh the
It's
Tsukiyomi weapon.
it's a Dark Knight
No,
weapon.
no, no, it's a Tombstone weapon.
Yeah,
Oh, the Tombstone one. Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Okay, I know which one you're talking
it's
about.
not a
it's just
mod. It's an
it, no, no, it's an actual
Yeah.
in-game weapon. I wasn't playing samurai, and but that can give people a false sense.
yeah.
Oh, are you using a mod because this doesn't fit with what I've seen from the game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of mods that are free running mods that everybody knows that they're out there. Hell,
Mm-hmm.
even Square Enix knows that they're out there. But number one, it's client side. And then they ask people like, hey, if you're going to upload certain things, it's just that make sure they're not copywritten things, because then otherwise we're going to have to go through and change it. And what I mean is like the Bard Media Player. Now it's one of those things that yes, it's client side for PC. You can't run something like that on the console, but you see like full blown orchestras. I mean, they're at nightclubs. They're everywhere. But the thing is that yes, they play music and all this other stuff, but everybody knows about them. And does it change the game? No, but it adds a quality of life to the game, because if you're a bard and they add the stuff to add the musical instruments, which is a bard to do, it's like what good is a pianist in the game if you can't play music? If that's what
Yeah.
the job
But
is.
that's
And
besides the
it gives
point, though. It's like
Yeah.
we're
I
drifting
agree.
off the. But yeah,
But
this
thank
is
you for
just
joining us,
this is
Kentucky.
just this is just our thoughts,
Yep.
and we were all here. We might do more videos with Usagi later, but
She will be
yeah,
kidnapped.
yeah, but
One with the collective.
that's just our
Yes.
thoughts and how we think about the situation going on. But thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye, Nara.
Bye.